Today is the 2nd of September, which is a national holiday here in Vietnam, and I'm taking this opportunity to take my BYD Seal Performance on a long journey to test its performance and its range. We're gonna get the car charged up to 100% battery, and we're gonna go to Tây a pagoda there. Apparently it's a nice destination, and we're gonna do some sightseeing and come back. So it's gonna be about 100 kilometers to get there and 100 kilometers to get back, which should give us a really good opportunity to test the range of the BYD Seal Performance right over there, okay? Let me show you what's happening with the charging station. So as you can see, we're not charging at VinFast charging station, we're charging at EV1 because I'm driving a BYD and cannot charge at VinFast, but there are many options, and this one is called EV1. And we're doing about 28.84 kilowatt of throughput here, and we're nearly 98% done. I see this number is fairly consistent, even up to 98%. So we're not really charging to the car's full potential because this car can charge much faster than this. Now, EV1 is one of the charging infrastructure companies that are coming into Vietnam, plus a few others. And owning a BYD and having to come to a station like this to get my car charged up, it feels like 2 years ago when I had my first VinFast car and the charging infrastructure wasn't really ready. It feels exactly like that. There are not a lot of charging stations available here in Vietnam for non-VinFast vehicles. You really have to look for them, and the charging stations, they're not operating really at optimal levels yet. And in fact, there's a lot of bugs. In fact, I'm getting this charged for free because the software doesn't really work. And basically, I plugged in. The software claims that the charging failed, even though it's actually working right now. My car's actually getting charged up. Let's compare the charging power. So on the station, it says 28.42. And in the car, it shows 27.2 kilowatt of power being delivered to the vehicle. And we are about 2 minutes away from getting to 100%. So let's get on the way, and I'll tell you more about the charging infrastructure here in Vietnam for non-VinFast vehicles. And ultimately, for this video, we're gonna test the range of the BYD Seal, all right? And I think you'll be very surprised at its range because I feel that it can go really long distance. Let's go.
Hey Tom, it's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. First I want to say congratulations on your YouTube channel. Everybody needs to follow your YouTube channel. So what everyone needs to do is subscribe to Tom Pang. Great guy, great person. Tom, keep up the great work.
The BYD Seal Performance is now charged up to 100%, as you can see here. And the BYD Seal Performance is giving us a range of 554 kilometers projected range. So this is what we might be able to travel, but we will determine that in reality. And let's set trip A to 0 kilometers so that it is easier for us to extrapolate and calculate the actual range on a fully charged BYD Seal Performance. And let's just bring up Android Auto and set our destination in Google Map, because I love Google Map. Google Map is the most reliable way to travel in Vietnam. And because we will not be expecting a lot of highway travel, in fact, I don't think there will be any highway travel going to Tây Ninh. That's why we put the mode to normal. We do want to test the car under normal driving conditions, driving like Tom Pang, but we don't need to put it into sport mode today because, again, we will not be on the highway much, if at all. And also today, we're traveling with my co-pilot, Miss Ngoc Vu, all right? She's wearing her crab hat. It's pink. She will be helping me with navigation and direction so that hopefully we don't get lost, all right? So let's go. Are you ready, Miss Ngoc Vu?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. So helping us getting to Tainan, we'll be using Android Auto, we'll be using Google Map, and we already set our destination into Google Map, and total travel time from Ho Chi Minh City to Tainan will be 2 hours and 30 minutes roughly, and we'll be traveling about 94 kilometers. All right, we'll get there about noon, just in time for lunch. Let's get going. Are you excited about Tainan?
Yes.
Have you been to Tainan?
Yeah, one time.
One time?
Yes.
I've been to Tainan one time to see one of our favorite customers. Why did you go to Tainan last time?
I go to Detroit, but you
Go to Detroit. I go to work and you go to Detroit. Go play. What did you do in Tainan?
I go to the high mountain in Tainan, very famous.
Oh yeah? High mountain. Are you gonna take me there this time?
Yes.
Awesome. So we're just getting out of Ho Chi Minh City, and we've traveled a total of 7.5 kilometers according to Trip A, and we barely lost 1% of the battery. So given these numbers, it's looking very promising. We can do more than 5 kilometers per 1% of battery usage. This will give us more than 500 kilometers, and of course that's initial numbers. We have to see the final outcome, and the car predicts it will go 561 kilometers with a 99% charge. So let's see if that actually becomes reality. The traffic condition today is very good. There's no congestion, which is usually what happens in Ho Chi Minh City. But today being a holiday, a national holiday, we're not expecting to see a lot of traffic here all the way to Tainan. And that should help with our numbers as well. So we just arrived at the border of Tainan from Ho Chi Minh City, and let's look at the numbers right now. We're about midway from Ho Chi Minh City to Tainan, and we have used up 6% of the battery, okay? And Trip A is showing 41.5 kilometers. So what this tells me is 6% gets us more than 40 kilometers. So Miss Nok,
Yeah.
can you do some math? So 1%, how many kilometers? She can't do math. Okay.
I cannot do it now. I need to focus on.
Come on, think. 40 kilometers and 6%. 1% give you... All right, it's more than 6 kilometers. More than 6 kilometers. That means this car has the potential of going over 600 kilometers on a full charge, given the data we have right now. That's super impressive. Don't you think, Miss Nok?
I just hope we can make enough the battery.
Well, I'm pretty sure this car can do, because we're gonna travel about 200 kilometers in total distance today, and this car so far, based on the numbers we have right now, we can do about 600 kilometers. Let's look into more data that the software provides. So if we go into the energy manager, we're saying that we're actually using standard regenerative braking. We're not even using high. So if we want to get more energy back from the braking of the car, then we will set it to high, but we're just using standard right now. In terms of consumption, we're seeing 415 kilometers travel in total for this car, and about 19 kilowatt hour usage per 100 kilometers. This is not for this trip, this is for the entire time this car has been traveling since this was made, okay? So I don't know if that number is good, but I think we did really good today. If we look over here, we're doing about 15.6 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. So BYD also provide a consumption curve, so you can see over time how you're using the battery. So, you know, I sometimes drive like a crazy person, so you can see all the spikes, right? That's when I'm driving like a crazy person. So I have to say, so far, I'm very impressed with the BYD Seal Performance in terms of the battery consumption, in terms of its efficiency. Let's continue on and see if these numbers stay the way they are. Do we get better performance, or maybe over a long range, maybe that will be degraded? We don't know. So let's find out. Let's go. Welcome to Tainan.
Yes. Hello, monster is coming.
What? Oh look, the storm is coming. Maybe it'll rain a lot later. And maybe they'll be flooded and BYD need to go swim.
Hope we are okay.
So it started to rain. Because of the rain, we have to slow down a little bit. We're doing about 50 kilometers per hour now because in this visibility, we don't want to go very fast. Safety is number one. So, Miss Nog,
Yeah.
now you have been my BYD Seal Performance, in the last few days, and we've traveled some distance together. How do you like the BYD Seal Performance?
The first thing I like this car about can make me feel comfortable about my seat here.
So you feel the seat is comfortable.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says.
Comfortable for me. If I like to bigger and bigger, maybe not comfortable.
You mean like your ass is gonna get bigger and bigger?
No, I don't mention about it. I just,
What do you mean bigger and bigger? What's getting bigger and bigger?
if I like more, I grow up.
Oh, you can still grow up? I don't think so, man.
The design of the car is nice.
It's nice?
Yeah.
Why? Why is it nice?
I feel nice.
You feel nice? Okay.
What about you?
I feel the interior is very modern and it's not boring. It's not boring like Tesla. And I think it's actually, it's got more personality than even, I say VinFast. The interior quality, I think better than VinFast because you feel more leather and more like, this material here is also very nice. I like the design in the interior. And you know what? They actually come out with a new model, I think the 2024 model, which is a redesign of the interior, and the new version is even better, but I can't wait. So I got this version instead. Anything else, Miss Nog, about the car you like or don't like?
I like this car because the assistant is so smart.
It's true. Like you can call, hi BYD, can you change the ambient light to yellow?
The ambient light is already set to yellow.
Oh, it's already set to yellow. You are so smart. I can't trick you. Anything else about the BYD you like or don't like?
I like this car.
You like this car?
Yeah.
Well, me too. In fact, I would say that I'm so impressed by this car. This is now my favorite car. I'm sorry, VinFast. Like I said, VinFast will always be my first love. The first love you never forget, right? But in terms of performance, in terms of functionality and features and range and performance, I said performance again, right? This car is just so much significantly better. And the reality is that once you try BYD, then you realize that this car is so much better. It's hard not to love it. It does have some downfalls, particularly with charging infrastructure and the difficulty of finding a charger, but we'll talk about that later. Let's get on our way so that we can get to our destination in the rain. I don't know what we can do. I brought my fly cam so that we can make some videos at the pagoda. I think it's a beautiful pagoda, but I don't know if we can do that today with the rain continuing to pour down on us. So hopefully it will clear up later. So we have finally arrived at our destination. And let's look at the numbers now. So we have used up 22% of our battery and we have traveled 116.3 kilometers. So that's about almost 550 kilometers on a full charge. And of course, the test is not over. We're gonna go up the mountain. We're gonna spend some time there. And then this is only 50% of our travel today. We still have to travel back to Ho Chi Minh and we'll have the final numbers once we get back to Ho Chi Minh City. But right now the numbers are looking very, very good. This car actually delivers what it advertises, which is about 550 kilometers on a full charge. And I think we did that on normal mode, okay? Not sports and not eco. And also we did not have aggressive regenerative braking. We were actually on standard, so we are not being very aggressive on the saving of the energy. So I'm driving like normally like Tom Payne, so generally that should take a big penalty, but I'm not seeing that. I'm actually seeing very good numbers right now. So the road condition today There was a bit of rain on the way, so we have to slow down a bit. But also there was some distance that we traveled at fairly quick pace. We got up to 100 kilometers per hour. So while we're traveling at a more quick pace, the battery consumption was definitely higher than normal. So I figured that maybe BYD, when you're traveling at a lower speed, this is probably true for most EVs. If you're traveling at a lower speed, then you're gonna get better efficiency compared to when you're traveling at a higher speed. But anyways, we're here, we're at the Black Virgin Mountain, so let's go play and taking some sights of the Tây Ninh province. Okay, let's go. So that's how we go up the mountain, by train. Let's go. All right, bye bye BYD, we'll be back. All right, did you like Black Virgin Mountain?
Yes, I like. I can do exercise
Exercise?
too much.
A lot of stairs, walking a lot of stairs. And I managed to take, I think, really good flight cam videos. And we saw like Buddha statue and Guanyin statue. And what's the story behind Black Virgin Mountain? Why do they call it that?
This is about the story of the woman. Her name is Lý Thị Thiên Hương. She have owned up her love to Buddhism. And one day he go to pagoda. Yes,
Yeah.
to pray something. But she got some problem because have some bad guy want to do some bad thing with her. And
What kind of bad things?
Like to do something
Not good. Okay, like maybe yum 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 yum. Okay, and then what happened?
and she doesn't want it happen, so she choose to kill herself,
Oh.
like to jump in the
Jump from the mountain?
Yes,
And that's why they called the mountain Black Virgin Mountain?
yeah.
Okay, there's so many folklores associated to this mountain. Actually, there are different versions of the story. Another version is that she fell in love with a soldier, and the soldier went to war and never came back, so she killed herself, you know, to preserve her virginity. Therefore, you know, they call the mountain Black Virgin Mountain. But then there's a lot of black limestone in the mountain as well, so maybe that's the reason. We don't know. Anyways, but we should get going and continue the second part of our range test of the BYD Seal Performance. So far the numbers are good, so let's see if we can keep those numbers up. Let's go.
Go.
So we're going back to Ho Chi Minh City, and the total distance will be 93 kilometers. It's gonna take us about 2.5 hours, and I'll see you when we get near Ho Chi Minh City. All right, it is 6 o'clock here in Vietnam, and we just reached the border between Tây Ninh and Ho Chi Minh City. So it's the halfway point from Tây Ninh, where we were, back to Saigon. We still have 69% of the battery left. That means we used up 31%. And for that 31%, we traveled 167 kilometers. I don't have a calculator handy, but that's about 550 kilometers on a full charge. And I have to say, I'm very impressed. The numbers maintained themselves throughout the journey today. I can safely say that this car will give you 550 kilometers driving in normal mode, not eco, on standard regen braking, driving like me, Tom Peng. And you know, I tend to get a little bit aggressive with cars, so I'm really truly impressed. Also, driving in normal mode does not mean that we are taking a big hit on the performance, because actually I still feel a lot of oomph. There's a lot of power that's available to me when I'm putting the pedal down. So you know what this means, Miss Knock?
I think that means even you use this car but don't take any power, but still save the energy.
Oh yeah, it's very, very efficient. It really can give you very long range, even for the performance model. But what this really means is that VinFast really has a very strong competition in BYD. BYD can build cars that... Hi, BYD.
Sorry, try me again?
No.
Could you repeat that?
No.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Go away. So what this means is that VinFast has a very strong competitor in BYD. And VinFast really need to step up their game, figure out how to get longer range in their vehicles in order to be competitive in Vietnam and elsewhere around the globe. Because, man, Chinese cars are pretty good, I have to say. And Miss Nok, you said that sitting in the BYD is very comfortable, right? Yes. And what about the ride quality? Do you feel that it's more bumpy, less bumpy than the VF8 or the any of the VinFast cars?
I feel don't have any problem with this car. But when
Right.
we have in the VinFast, I have this many times.
Many what problem?
Like when sitting the car and about the road is best and also feel not okay and make me off. But in this car, nothing.
Okay,
happen.
that's what she meant. She meant that in the VinFast, she tend to oil a lot because the car tend to be more bumpy. And it's not just Miss Nok, actually a lot of people in our company, because we have VinFast cars for company cars, they tend to get car sick because of the bumpiness. But you don't feel that in this car, right? So again, I think that's an area that VinFast need to improve. I think they did so with the VF7, but still not to this level of comfort and ride quality. However, I think BYD does have a disadvantage though, because BYD does not have a strong charging infrastructure here in Vietnam. Not like VinFast. VinFast has a very good coverage here in Vietnam. So if I drive my VinFast car anywhere I go, I don't need to worry about getting my car charged if it runs out of electricity. However, the BYD does give you 550 kilometers. So when I drive this car to Taining and back, I don't feel anxious at any point, because when I look at the percentage left, it goes down so very slowly, and I feel that I have a lot of range left, so I don't feel nervous or anxious. But in the VinFast, every 220 kilometers or less, I'm looking for charging stations. So I think that's the big difference. With VinFast, you get a lot of charging coverage, not so much in the BYD. If you get the BYD, you need to figure out how to charge at home. So maybe buy a charging station and install it at home. And maybe that's the best solution until all these companies that are coming into Vietnam and figuring out how to provide Vietnam with the charging infrastructure. I think that will come in time, maybe in a few years. I think that's a great future to look forward to when everybody drives EVs and can charge conveniently. And also, this car is capable of charging at very fast speeds. So you can charge up this car maybe from 30% to 100 in about 20 minutes. Unfortunately, the car is capable of that, but there is no charging station available that allows you to do that. In fact, there's only probably one charging station available in Vietnam that can do that, but that charging station is in Audi dealership. And the last time I take this car to the Audi dealership, they basically refused me, okay? They refused me. It's actually in the EV1 station, but it's in Audi. And they say, no, you cannot charge here because you're not an Audi, you're a BYD, okay? And it's so sad to see there's so much fragmentation. Oh, you can only charge here, this brand cannot charge there. So I think it's gonna be very confusing in the future, but I'm sure in time, I'm sure the power of the capitalism and the invisible hand will somehow solve this problem for us. As long as there is a demand for EVs here in Vietnam, and if people want to drive them, then this problem will get solved, all right? So, anyways, in summary, BYD Seal Performance, 550 kilometers on a full charge. That is amazing. All right, so take some fucking action. Look into the BYD Seal Performance. It is really an amazing car, and don't be a fucktard.